This update is sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, a website, or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Start a free trial today and get 10% off your first purchase when you go to squarespace.com/theknow and use offer code KNOW. Welcome to The Know, I'm Mica. After all the drama over the last few days, the gaming forum NeoGAF is back online after a sexual misconduct allegation against its owner prompted a mass exodus of mods and users. But in a statement this morning announcing that the site was back up, NeoGAF's owner Tyler Evilor Mica proclaimed his innocence, saying that the allegation isn't true and that the story doesn't reconcile logically with the facts. As for the site itself, it doesn't look like Mica has any plans of shutting it down. Later in his statement, he asked users to respect the mod team, writing, "The team is diminished at the moment and the folks who stuck around care very much about the community and its future. Be considerate of them." We'll see if NeoGAF survives. As of today, the forums are back in operation, so some people were back to chatting about games and others were still talking about the larger drama surrounding the forum. One post was even titled, "Is NeoGAF gonna turn into MySpace now?" Which is kind of funny and sad. Remember MySpace? Nope, me neither. Cyberpunk 2077, the futuristic RPG that's being developed by CD Projekt Red, is still pretty much a mystery, but there might be some pretty interesting social options in the game. According to the Mad Queen show on a YouTube channel called the Triple S League, the game will feature a social hub that will be integrated with the game's single-player and multiplayer modes. According to the Mad Queen, the hub will be like having a Twitter app in the game where you can find other players to interact with. And in that hub, players will be able to not just interact, but also participate in side activities. What kind of activities? Well, we have no clue. But it's an interesting tidbit to consider while we wait for more info about the game. It's CD Projekt Red after all, so whatever they're working on, we'll be interested. Well, that didn't take very long. After just a month on sale, Destiny 2 is already the best-selling game of 2017 in the US, so congratulations, Guardians. We don't know the exact sales numbers, but according to a report from the NPD group, Destiny 2 not only topped the charts for the month of September, but also for the entire year to date. And yeah, that's really impressive for a game that just released on console September 6th, and it's just now out on PC. If you're wondering, the top spot was previously taken by Ghost Recon Wildlands. As for hardware, the mini SNES Classic topped the charts, even though it released at the tail end of September, and the Switch outsold both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One for the month of September. So yeah, a good month for both Guardians and Nintendo. Multiplayer seems all the rage these days, but not for Wolfenstein 2. One person who worked on the game recently said that the game didn't have a multiplayer mode because it would have detracted too much from the story. Tommy Todson Bjork of Machine Games told GamesIndustry.biz that the only way we can create these super immersive narrative experiences is if we can solely focus on the single player. Having a multiplayer component in this work process would just dilute it all. That's the danger if you try to do two things at once. Why is this news? Because lots of publishers lately, EA, seem to be canceling single-player games in favor of more multiplayer-focused stuff that's more profitable with loot boxes and microtransactions. So it's nice to see that at least some developers don't feel the same way. The most recent system update for the Switch has added an interesting feature: GameCube controller support, of all things. The addition was discovered by Twitter user Master Mewking, who posted a screenshot saying that the GameCube controller worked using the Wii U's USB adapter. Then, like other controllers, you just press L and R on your GameCube controller to pair it with the Switch. So does this mean we might be getting some GameCube Virtual Console titles? Maybe even Smash Melee? Well, Nintendo isn't saying anything, but we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and dust off our old bright orange controllers. I know I still have mine. We've learned a little bit more about the Frozen Wilds, which is the only expansion for this year's open world hit Horizon Zero Dawn. In an interview with OPM UK, lead writer Ben Mica talked about the new area in the DLC that you can explore as Aloy. He described it as a disputed border zone and said that we wanted to provide a new area, a new culture, but we also wanted to give Aloy relationships to delve into and ultimately a storyline that does what a lot of other quests in the game do. The expansion also won't require you to have completed the game, and lead quest designer David Ford said they consider it to be mid to end game in terms of difficulty. Ford also said that the expansion will have some cool new skills that add some new combat dimensions and some new ways to interact with machines. Oh, and you'll also see upgraded versions of existing weapons and some brand new ones too. The Frozen Wilds will release on November 7th, and it costs you just $20, although if you are on PS Plus, it's just 15 bucks. It looks like shooting on the Spider-Man spin-off movie Venom is finally underway. A tweet yesterday from the movie's official Twitter account was titled Day One and showed a smiling Tom Hardy in what looks like a behind-the-scenes image. Hardy plays photographer Eddy who is the longtime nemesis of Peter Parker, and eventually becomes the host for the alien symbiote known as Venom. The movie is directed by Ruben Fleischer, who you might remember previously made Zombieland. It's the first of a series of Spider-Man spin-off movies for Sony, which owns the movie rights to the character, despite the fact that we've seen Spider-Man more and more in the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe these days. Another spin-off movie that will feature Silver Sable and the Black Cat, which I'm so excited for, is scheduled in 2019. But first things first, which is Venom, which also stars Riz Ahmed and Michelle Williams. It's set to release in October of next year. Will Star Wars Episode 9 be a jumping off point for a new series? Well, J.J. Abrams, who was brought back in to direct the movie after things didn't work out too well with Colin Trevorrow, gave some details about the movie's overall focus. In an interview with BBC Radio 4, he said, "I feel like we need to approach this with the same excitement that we had when we were kids, and at the same time we have to take the places they haven't gone, and that's the sort of our responsibility." He then talked about big franchises like Star Trek and Star Wars, calling them the things of dreams, but he added, "Yet we can't just revel in that, we have to go elsewhere." Elsewhere? Now what could that mean? Of course, we're a long way away from Episode 9, but it is cool to think about where the franchise could be headed in the future. Oh, right, and Episode 8, The Last Jedi, hits theaters December 15th, so there's some Star Wars to tide us over. If you've ever thought, hey, I wish I could read Stephen Hawking's doctoral thesis, first of all, you're a psycho. But second of all, it's available online, so go for it, you psychos. The famous physicist recently gave permission for his 1966 doctoral thesis titled Properties of Expanding Universes to be made available for anyone to read. Previously, people had to pay $85 for a digital copy or, go to the library, but now it's free for download from the University of Cambridge's open access repository known as Apollo, and you don't have to go into a library. It's apparently really popular as well. More than 60,000 people have grabbed it already, which has caused the website to occasionally crash. In a statement, Hawking said that he hoped the thesis would inspire people around the world to look up at the stars and not down at their feet. So that's cool, but could anyone give me the cliff notes on it though? I have a feeling that it's really, really long. I also don't understand science very well. Is NewEgg rotten? Wow, that's a horrible egg pun. That's what one lawsuit claims after the popular electronic site was sued for fraud. 4 South Korean banks claim that the site is part of a Ponzi scheme, alleging that it conspired with a South Korean hardware manufacturer to defraud banks of hundreds of millions of dollars. The lawsuit, according to the LA Times, alleges that NewEgg and a computer wholesaler made fraudulent orders from a Korean hardware manufacturer, who then used these orders to secure financing from the banks. The hardware manufacturer, Monuel, then repeated that process according to the suit and got more than $3 billion in loans from several banks. It defaulted on many of the loans though and ended up owing around $500 million. In 2015, the CEO of Monuel was sentenced to 23 years in prison for financial fraud, and now the banks are going after NewEgg, who they say got kickbacks for making the orders. In a statement though, an attorney for NewEgg says that it vehemently denies all the allegations, which he's a lawyer, he's gotta. So that's all the news we have for you today. For more news from every corner of the internet, remember to like this video, and if you are new around here, subscribe to the know. Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this update. Everyone needs their own corner of the internet, and Squarespace can help you make a good one with their award-winning website templates. Plus, you don't have to install anything, patch anything, upgrade anything. It's all taken care of, and there's support available 24/7 if you have any questions on how to get the most out of your website. So whether you want your next move to be writing about video games or anime, or if you want to showcase a creative portfolio, whatever you want, Squarespace has you covered. Just start a free trial today and get 10% off your first purchase if you decide you want to go for it. To get it, just go to squarespace.com/theknow, or if you just happen to be on the Squarespace website, use offer code KNOW and it will give it to you.